4 block, 1 Vega, enough love said speed. Keep the positive energy burning, trust in the most high, will affirm meditation, and keep doing the right thing. Highly blessed.
The world is a troubled place. We must find time to save the human race. Love, unity, and empathy has no place among the human race. In this transition, when we live in love and harmony and show respect with unity, only love can set us free to fight injustice wherever it be. Just said the hungry must be fed, but man can't live by only bread. We have the future in our hands. Let's take the trot to the promised land. Jamaica, Ethiopia, America, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, from the middle of the graveyard to the center of the sea. Our ancestors, are you and me, we are the great ones. From the beginning of time, we have the heart, the soul, the body, and the mind. Calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling. United we stand, divided we fall. All for one and one for all. Some never know themselves.
Yeah, let's get this going because I know that we have a lot on the plate that we are looking about. Grand rising to each and every one. Grand rising to Professor Strength, who is here with us, Brother James, Nigel, Kareem, and Brother Jackson. Professor, I am looking for the material. Did you send it in the classroom or did you send it personally to me, Professor? I have Jason Love.
I'll put it back in the classroom. Hold on.
Please. But at its appropriate time, I'll also allow you to, do a bit of meet and greet because I know that you're multitasking. But like last week, your message was very much inspirational. Grand rising to Love by God, who is joining us via our YouTube. As you know, this week is the revised week, but we have some material also we'll be sharing. All right, that is Brother Strength putting it inside the classroom. Brother Strength, you want to say anything before we play this tape? You want to elaborate about what the content of the tape is and why you choose to put it forward as a spiritual empowerment? Brother Strength, Professor Strength. I got it, Professor Strength. But I'm saying, is there anything? Do you want to interact with the class before we play it?
Can you hear me?
We're hearing you loud and clear.
Okay.
Loud and clear, we're hearing you.
Mic check, mic check. So there is a certain type of energy that flows in every single person's body. They say it's called chi. Some say it's called kundalini. Some say it's just the electromagnetic field of the body. Each individual basically is on when they're up and creates an electromagnetic field that repels the magnetic field of the earth, so that therefore we can actually walk around. I've never heard anyone speak of Kundalini energy as much as this individual. How he explains it is in the form of factual allegory, if that makes any sense. Majority of the Bible is in stories, but it has no relation to the individual when you're speaking or when you're reading it. But when you hear teachings of,
I don't know why your mic is
say,
going in
that
and going out, Professor.
energy of God is within you. So if we can play this, then we can talk about it and see how it is explained.
All right, I'm about to play this tape, and welcome to Danny and Brother Jackson. Sister Crystal said that she will join us today. She was in transit. She'd been traveling quite a while, so she asked us just not to abandon her, but she was absent for a reason. All right, this is the tape that our professor has solicited to learn from today, and I don't know who is familiar with the Kundalini philosophy. Have anybody here?
Kundalini energy.
Yes, you have heard about it before.
Yeah, man. Kundalini energy.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Basically, the Kundalini energy is your chakras.
all righty, all right. You're one thing, wouldn't you know? Um, all right. He said that this explanation, as far as the Kundalini experience, is very, very thorough, and when you listen to it, you will gather more about that subject. So I'm going to put it across right now, Professor.
Yeah, we're going to do something interesting tonight, which I think you'll find, and that's Kundalini. That's a strange word for it to be a Hindu word. We were saying this afternoon, it sounds like something you'd go to get in an Italian restaurant. You know, I'll have Kundalini with clam sauce, you know, something like that. But it's not it's Kundalini. It's a very strange word, but it is a most ancient thing that transcends all religions, and you know, it goes back to the very earliest concepts of the human body. And basically, if you were to say what it boils down to, is the way that you take control of yourself. That's Kundalini. Rather than the lower self controlling you, this is the way that you control yourself. I mean, there are just certain ways and certain things that you do in order to make things happen. If you're going to install air conditioning, you have to follow principles in order to make the thing work. If you're going to install electricity, you have to follow that. In the same way, the ancients, the wisdom that came down from God, left us instructions on what to do in order to control your body and your mind, rather than having the effect be the opposite. Right? And this describes actually 7 chakras, which they call chakras, distributed from the base to the crown of the head, from the spine to the crown of the head. The reason that there is 7, I'll be quite frank with you, is because most of these ancient people knew only 7 planets. They could only identify 7 planets, and that's why they identified 7 chakras. And there's others who have a various belief in how many there are. And we're not going to go into the in-depth analysis of this. I'm trying to just to give you a light understanding or a light familiarization with the term and what it means. But to activate this in your body, and everybody can activate this in their body, but to activate it is to release realizations of spiritual consciousness and bliss. That's what it does. Spiritual consciousness and bliss. The only possible way that you can activate spiritual consciousness is Kundalini. There is no other way it can be done. It is impossible to do it any other way. And that's why it's so important that you become familiar with the term. Otherwise, you're into religion and you're dwelling in consciousness of the lower mind with all of its distractions. It can't work that way, and we'll show you that soon. But the 7 centers that are located from the base of the spine to the crown are known as chakras. Chakras. And that word means wheels. Okay. 7 chakras, wheels, they're nerve centers. But I want you to understand something about that, okay? They're psychological. And that's very, very, very important for you to know. Okay? They're psychological, which means if your doctor was to look and x-ray your spine or open your back and inspect your spine from the base to the crown, he wouldn't find any of these chakras. And what is being said here is that in each place, in each area where a chakra, quote unquote, is located, there is something to be overcome, whether it be in the base, the sexual area, the heart area, the throat area, the solar plexus, up into the head and up into the crown. There has to be an overcoming, but these are not physical things that you can find or any doctor could find attached to your body. So understand that. But they are definitely there, and they definitely have their placement, but they're on the spiritual realm of things and the psychological realm of things, but still, you'll never find fulfillment in your life until these things are overcome, until each of these centers which are closed off are open. You'll never find life. You'll never find spirituality. You'll spend your life praying and reading Bibles and reading Bibles and reading Bibles, but you will not experience that, which is the essence of life. Okay? Now, here, let's look at the premise. Well, yeah, here, let's look at this. Let's look at the premise of Kundalini. Let's see what the premise is, okay? You have an energy raising itself from the base of the spine inside of you. The spine, your back. Your spine is in your back. Okay. Well, you know, sometimes, you understand. Okay, you have 7 chakras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? That's the belief. We don't go into details about the others of the 9th. I'll tell you about that later. 7 chakras that rise up your spine inside of you, obviously, to generate energy to the right hemisphere of the brain and cause you to start thinking with cells which are located at the right hemisphere of the brain. And those are the 7 chakras of Kundalini. Now, it's a very strange thing, isn't it, to think of something like this or to talk about something like this, especially in Christian circles. I happened to watch a program on television in my office in which a Catholic priest was putting this down. And he was saying what the belief is that there's an energy that rises up 7 chakras to the spine and then throws energy to the right hemisphere. And this is something you got to stay away from. This is New Age thought. It's Hindu, and it's something you don't want to get involved in. And I wrote him a letter, and I said, Father, you know, nice program, and God bless you and everything. But you want to be a little careful as a Christian as to what you say about these 7 chakras. And I showed him something, and I'm going to show it to you right now. Go to page 229 in the New Testament in the book of Revelation, all right? Page 229 in the New Testament in the book of Revelation. And let's look at something together, which is very, very interesting. Now, this is a Bible. It says Bible on the front of your book. King James Version, which kind of gives it some Western authority, some credibility in your life, I would assume. You know, it's used by Christians, Jews, and others who are of our ilk, if you would. Now, I just told you about this very strange Kundalini of the 7 chakras going up the spine and opening the right hemisphere of the brain. Page 229 in that New Testament of yours, Revelation chapter 5, okay? Let's take a look at what it says. Listen, and let's read it closely and carefully with me. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne, immediately we're being led to the right hemisphere of the brain of the higher consciousness, okay? Now watch what this is. This is the book of life that all of Christianity is based on, my friends. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. It's in your Bible. Therefore, we must be very careful if we get this New Age fear creeping into the point that we start screaming against everything simply because it's Hindu. Definitely it's Hindu, but definitely it's in the Bible. And that, my friends, the description of Kundalini in the Bible is termed the book of life. And all over at every church you've ever been to, they said you want to make sure your name is written in the Lamb's book of life. The Lamb's book of life, because the top chakra, the crown chakra, coincides with that which is Aries, the ram or the lamb, which takes away the cold of the winter and takes away the sins and so forth. Okay? So I'm not here telling you about a strange Hindu belief. I'm telling you about something that is in Revelation chapter 5, verse 1 of your Judeo-Christian Bible. A book held in the right hand of him who sits on the throne, written within you on the backside, indicating the spine, and sealed with 7 seals, which are the 7 chakras. You don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar, I think, to determine that's what they're talking about. That's what's in the Bible. Now, the point here is that Kundalini means the coiled serpent, and Lori, throw that away. She is great. The coiled serpent is Kundalini, which rises and must rise through those 7 chakras in order to open each area of your spinal system where these seals cover up the energies of desire and feelings and so forth and so on. That's what Kundalini means. But this is the important thing I'm trying to get to, stumbling a little bit. These 7 seals or 7 chakras can only be opened by the serpent. Can only be opened by the serpent. How do I know that? Well, of course, that's the ancient belief, but take a look again, Revelation 5, where you are about this. Look at Revelation 2. 5:2. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming, who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof? With me? Who can do this? Can you? Well, look what it says in Revelation 5:3. And no man in heaven, nor in the earth, nor under the earth was able to open the book, neither to look therein. Now, what you just said, the word man in mysticism means mind. The human mind never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, can take part in entering and opening up the seals, the 7 seals, which leads up to the crown. It's impossible. It cannot be done. It can only be done by the coiled serpent of Kundalini. Can't be done any other. And the Bible has just said, no man anywhere is able to do that. So, no man is found worthy. I look at Revelation 5:4, and I wept because no man was found worthy, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't even look at it. You know why? Because you cannot enter the right hemisphere of your brain. Here you have a head. How many of you had a head? Look at, everybody has a head, right? In your head is a brain. 10% of the brain you use. That's the 10% of tithing. That's what God wants you to give. That's what tithing means. Give that 10%. It has nothing to do with money. The other 90% you don't touch. 90% of your brain you don't touch. Would that seem reasonable to you? This is telling you, hey, that 90% is available to you if you follow the instructions of the ancients, including Jesus Christ, who said, practice the single eye, which is Kundalini. Go to the upper room, which is Kundalini. Okay. So who is able to open the seal? Revelation 5:5. And one of the elders said, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah is able to open the seal. Okay? Very, very important. Watch with me. If you go to Numbers chapter 2, verse 2 in the Bible, you'll find that the tribes of Israel were set up under the, what you would call the 4 points of the compass. North, south, east, and west. Okay? Now, here we have the tribe of Dan in the north, the emotions, the tribe of Reuben in the south, the physical, the tribe of Ephraim in the west, the intellect, and the tribe of Judah in the east, as it says in the King James, at the point of the rising sun. All right? And the domicile of the sun in the zodiac is Leo, the lion. Leo, the lion of the tribe of Judah, the power, the energy of the sun, the power of the spirit at the right hemisphere of the brain, sitting at the east, is all that is available, but it is available to you to open the seventh seal. You, in other words, have to, if you're going to undertake this work, enter into meditation. You cannot rush this. Many people have tried. Dr. Timothy Leary tried to go up via all of this stuff. What do they take? LSD and all this stuff, and you can freak yourself out. Yes, you can. That Jesus Christ addressed that. He says people try to take heaven by force. Okay, you can't, except you can burn your mind, you can burn your brain. You can't fool with this stuff. The only possible way is sitting as a seed, waiting until nature feels you are ready and starts its movement upward to open the right side. Has to be done according to nature. You know, you cannot plant seeds and then pull up the grass tomorrow. It comes up when it comes up. And everything is done in God's law, in you as well as outside. So the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the sun, see, and that's like, okay, that's fine out there, but look within yourself. Where does the lion's domicile within you? It's at the east, it's at the right side, because when you look north, east is always on the right side. And there, the power of the right side will energize the activity of Kundalini within you. And that's the only possible place. And then it says also, the Lion of the tribe of Judah hath prepared to open the book and to loose the seals, the root of David. What that means is David is the king. You must have David within you as well. You must be disciplined to take the land. You must be disciplined to overlook the land with your army of human spirits saying, I am not going to allow the marauders from the lower Canaanite places to come crashing in. I am going to keep the land. I am going to keep the right side protected, and I am going to keep all of that which is the lower out. That's what David did. And that's what you need. That's what you have to do. Okay, so within you, the spirit of the right side will cause the seals to open. The Kundalini is a rising power, as I said, which comes up the spine, and which we read about in the book of Revelation a moment ago, okay? And as this energy begins to rise up each seal, it causes the seal to open, and it causes you to overcome that which is a problem in your life because of something that may be in either the lower chakra or the heart chakra or the sexual prostate area, the throat area, whatever it is, all of them have to be overcome. And Kundalini means, this is exactly what it means, the coiled one. Okay? The coiled one. And it is an energy like a serpent. That's why you see in India, you know, the guy gets the flute and he plays the flute and then the serpent comes up, because the ancients said, when the flute is on the lips of God, the serpent will rise. That's related to this. Actually, in reality, the serpent doesn't hear, the snake doesn't hear the music of the flute. He sees the flute going back and forth, and that's why he comes up. But they use that as a symbol. Okay. The word is Sanskrit, Kundalini, which is original Hindu. It's the coiled serpent who sleeps in the lowest of the body's 7 centers. Now, Buddha says she lies coiled 3.5 times, okay? So let's look at that. I can take the stuff off again. She lies coiled 3.5 times. Now, Buddha says she lies coiled 3.5 times in the 9th. Because Shakyamuni Buddha said, yes, you go through the 7 centers, but then you get to the 8th, which is the harbinger of your memories. And in fact, number 8 in mysticism means rupture. That's the place where all of a sudden, you know, when you feel good, and then the memories come back, the dreams come back, the things come back to haunt you. And he says, when you get to the 8th, where all the bitter memories come from that drag you down, all of the bitterness that's been put into you by either family or religion or church or school or government, then he says, drill deep down into the 9th, because in the 9th, she lies coiled. And when you drill with your meditation into the 9th, she awakens and she rises to devour all of the hurts and all of the fears. It's all symbolisms. It's all way of uncovering and bringing to life the electrical energy in your body to set you free. But she rises to devour the hurt. Here's the 3.5 times, and this is why she lies coiled 3.5 times, okay? It's all based on the zodiac of 3 times 360 degrees of the zodiac, which equals 1,080 degrees. Okay. And then 1/2 of the 360 degrees, which is 180, and it's 1,260. Okay. 1,260 in numerology adds up to 9. How did I do that? 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 6 equals 9. 9 is the number of human consciousness. This is the extremes that they went to in order to be able to hide this from the profane and open it only to those people who are going to meditate and purge away all of the selfishness and the ego to get to this power. 3.5 times, okay, she lies coiled. 1,260. It's very, very important that it's the reason why doesn't he just say, you know, Ed, why does he have to go 3.5 times? You know, just there's another way to get to, why do you have to go through all this? Why does it have to be 1,260? 1 is God, 2 is God in you, and 6 is that works which you have to overcome, the disciplines, the doctrines that you have to overcome. And it all adds up to 9, which is consciousness. Let me show you something that maybe you get a better look at this. Go to page 230. You're in the book of Revelation now. Okay. Go to page 232 and go to Revelation chapter 11. Excuse me. Revelation chapter 11. Okay. And you'll see something. And Revelation chapter 11, verse 3. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses. The 2 witnesses of the pineal glands, the pituitary gland. Okay. The 2 witnesses, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, are the same as the king's chamber and the queen's chamber of the pyramid. I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 score days. Do you see that? You with me? 1,203 score. 3 score means 3 times 20. That's 1,260. Do you see why it's important? They put 1,260. I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy 1,260 days. And there you have that very important coded message of 126 adding up to 9. So that's why you have to have this 3.5 times. You have to have 3, 1080, and then 1/2 to make 1260. Now, let me show you something else. You're in Revelation 11:3. Go to Revelation 11:11. Just a few verses down. Okay? Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered them, and they stood upon their feet. Once again, you see it? 3.5. You're seeing that same thing that Buddha was. Now remember, Buddha wrote 1,000 years before Jesus, and Buddha was saying she lies coiled 3.5 times. Here you're seeing 3.5 days, and a couple of verses ahead of that, you saw the 1,260, which is the progression of the addition and multiplication of that. The reason that this is done like this is to hide this from the profane. As Jesus said, they look and look and they don't see, they listen and listen and they don't understand. And what does that all mean? It means that you don't have a person who knows nothing about electricity fool with the wires in here, because he'll burn the place down. And God is not going to have people who do not understand and have not had this ego purged away to touch the power that resides in the right hemisphere of the brain. You can't get at it, no matter what you do. The only way you can get at it is meditation, and when the time is right, Kundalini will rise and open it for you. Now, this Kundalini activity in your body is a winding activity. It's like a serpent. It's like, okay, just like that. It's like you see the caduceus that your doctor wears on the lapel when he comes out. You see the duality of it like that. What else do you see like this? The basis of life, DNA. Everything flows. Everything flows in that cyclic serpentine type of pattern. It's a winding energy. Now, let's look in the Bible and let's see how this Kundalini energy is described in the construction of the temple. Now, remember, it says God lives in a temple not built with human hands. And as I said to the people this morning, if you take your 2 fingers and raise them to the side of your head, you'll touch the only temples in the universe that are not built with human hands. The only temples in the universe that are not built with human hands are right on the side of your head. That's where God dwells. And we're going to look at the construction of the temple, and we're going to compare it with this winding energy of Kundalini. Let's go. Let's go to page 296 in the Old Testament and look at the book of 1 Kings, okay? 1 Kings chapter 6, because it's very interesting. We're looking at the construction of the temple. Now remember, you're looking at literal words, but don't look at them literally. Relate them to yourself. How do you build the temple? You've got to come in, you've got to sit, you've got to enter into meditation, you've got to deep within yourself, raise yourself above the thoughts of the mind in absolute silence of what Buddha called nirvana. Look what happens here. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 6, verse 7. This is the temple. This is you. And the house, when it was in building, was being constructed, was built of a stone made ready before it was brought there, so that there was neither hammer nor axe nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was building. The temple is built in silence. Is it? Are you with me? The temple must be built in silence. And remember, God lives in a temple made without human hands, which means the temple that he's talking about is the temple in your head, saying that that temple where God is going to reside must be built in silence. Look at me. That's why Jesus drove the money changers out of the temple. That's what he's talking about. Are you really going to think that this guy's going to get picked off and go kicking over pigeons and everything? For what? For what? It was a very normal thing to have money changers in the temple and have dove sellers. Did it all the time. This was showing you a secret that when he comes in, he drives the activity out of your mind through nirvanic meditation. Okay, so we see it's built without any sound. Now look at verse 8. The door for the middle chamber. The middle chamber is the Holy of Holies. The door for the middle chamber was in the right side of the house. Why? You should stop right there and say, why? Why does it have to be in the right side of the house? Because when the sun in your sky rises in the northern hemisphere in the spring, it sits at the eastern side or the right side, and spring comes. Spring cannot come until the universal energy parks itself in the right side. Then spring comes. In the same way, it happens inside of you, because as it is without, which is the macrocosm, it is within, which is the microcosm. The energy must park itself at the right side, and then spring comes to your life. Okay? Now look at the next one. Here we're going to get to Kundalini. Sound like a little Italian. Kundalini. The door for the middle chamber was in the right side of the house, and they went up with winding stairs into the middle. Why winding stairs? Look at it. It's the serpent. You see, the point is that people say, I'm a cult leader and I'm doing all of this stuff and I'm doing all this fakakta and all of this. I'm telling you, look, you tell me why. You tell me why they had to have winding stairs. Why couldn't I have straight stairs? Why they had to put it in the right side of the house? Why is everything sitting at the right hand of God? Why not sitting at the left hand? And why does everything got to come from the east? The wise men come from the east. Why don't they come from the west? Why don't you call your egg festival in April Wester? Happy Wester, everybody. It makes it easy for the wabbits who speak. Happy Wester. Why not? Why? See, when you look at the Bible, say, why is it like that? Don't just say that's the way it is. Say, why is it like that? The ancients of Kundalini told you why it was. The Bible's telling you the same thing. The stairs had to be winding because it can't go up like that. It goes up like that. It's the same as DNA. Up like that. And look at this. It went into the middle chamber and out of the middle chamber into the third. Okay? Now here we go, Kundalini. In the elevation stages of consciousness in your brain, the first stage is earth. That's your carnal mind. The second stage is water, which is God's truth. The third stage is air, which is nirvana. That's where you say we're going to rise to meet Jesus in the air. The fourth stage is fire, which is the Holy Spirit. What I am showing you here is baptism. Baptism has nothing to do with sticking your head in water. I mean, isn't that bizarre that we believed? I mean, this is what we took to be so holy, Joe. This God is not going to get freaked out unless you stick your head in water. I mean, it doesn't make any difference if the water's polluted. This has got to be. Got to stick your head in the water. And in the Hebrews 6:1, the Apostle Paul says, get away from that. Get away from baptism. Why? Because you should learn that baptism means taking your lower mind, submitting it to the truth of the second stage, rising up to the third stage, which is air. And air is that stage of your mind where there are no thoughts. Okay? So here then we see Kundalini rising up by winding stairs into the right side and then into the third, up into air, up into that place of bliss, up into that place where there's no human thought. It's pretty neat. It's pretty good. Winding chamber. That's the action of Kundalini. Now let's see its effect on a person in the Bible. You want to go? Come on. Let's see the effect on the person in the Bible. Let's go to page 173 in the New Testament, the book of Romans. Okay? And let's see what kind of an effect it had on a human being who was a prolific Bible scholar, Bible writer. We'll go to Romans chapter 12. It's on page 173 of your New Testament. So far, are you halfway? I mean, do you follow what I'm telling you here? Is it, fairly basic and so that you can get an understanding? And what I'm trying to show you is I'm trying to let you see the authority and the credibility of it in the Bible. Okay, now let's take a look what Paul says. Romans chapter 12. I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Most of you who are on page 173 are there anyhow, but the others who have the more advanced Bible, you're probably a little off. Okay, 2 Corinthians chapter 12. Now listen what this guy says. You see, this is what I get. People say, oh, don't go down there. They got them floating on the ceilings. They're having out-of-body experiences and all this evil occult stuff. You don't want to get involved in that. Stay out of that place. Watch this one. Get this guy. This is the guy that wrote the Bible. Chapter 12, verse 2. I know a man in Christ about 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell or whether out of the body I cannot tell. He didn't know. He really freaked out. This guy really was gone. He must have been listening to Kataro. He just took off. This guy had an experience. Sometimes when you're here sitting at the floor and, this is where he went. God, such a one caught up to the third heaven. Do you see it there? Is it in your Bible? Read it. Was he caught up to the third heaven? He was elevated beyond the domain of the mind into the domain of the third heaven or air where there is no human consciousness. And all good things happen there, okay? It caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words which it is not lawful for a man to utter. In other words, the things that you come and you say, I don't know what happened, but something happened. I know, I can't tell you. I don't know how to explain it. That's what he was saying. I don't know what happened. And then the Christians say, you can't have an out-of-body experience. I don't know what it was. Had an out-of-body experience. Isn't that great? Such a one. Caught up to paradise. Huh? Okay. So, see, I don't want to get into this right now, but going into the crucifixion, you got the two thieves on one side and the other, and Jesus says to one, today you will be with me in paradise. It's the same thing. Okay, but we'll talk about that another time. Okay, the serpent then, which is Kundalini, and the serpent portrays this energy. There is no snake in you. You do not have worms or anything like that. That's not what this is talking about. There's no snake inside of you. You don't have to go and take pills and get dewormed. You're okay. It is serpent power. It is a description of an energy which rises in a cyclic type of fashion like a serpent, okay? And the reason that the serpent is used is because what does the serpent do? It sloughs off its old skin and becomes born again, brand new. That's why they use the serpent. That's the only reason they use the serpent, because the serpent will crawl right out of its old skin and leave the old stuff behind. Go right on, brand new. So, wow, ain't nice. Look at this. Woohoo. You can't do that. You do kind of like that when you come back in a new one because, here you are. Look at how, isn't this great? Here we are, very intelligent, mature people, prettier, some of us a little fat, some of us a little skinny. We're all intelligent. And just think, in a little while, you're going to be a little baby. Wetting, sucking your thumb, going through this whole thing all over again. You're going to slough off the old one. You're going to take on the new one. And you're going to continue your journey of understanding and realization. And it's hard to believe, isn't it? It's really hard to believe. But here, most of you who have lived 1,000 different times, maybe more. And it's a beautiful way. What more magnificent way than to allow us the experiences of all aspects of life? God knows next time you're liable to live in the Alps. Or you're liable to, I don't know, you're liable to be a chariot. I don't know what you, but you'll be something special. You know why? Because you're growing all the time and you're learning. You can't learn this in 60 years or 70 or 80 years. You come and you continue. Like I tell people, and this is something that I feel very strongly about how karma works, you know. It's not like I said, if you're a member of the Ku Klux Klan, karma's got something waiting for you. Because you're going to wind up a little black baby and some big black mama's got you right in the hand. She's going to straighten your little you-know-what out real quick. Or if you're happy to be Irish, you know, I'm proud as Patty Pig to be Irish. Oh, be God, it'll be God. Gonna match in the St. Paddy's Day parade. But Irish Catholic, and I want to talk to any of these other people. Yes, County Cork forever. Next time this guy's born in Tel Aviv. And all he hears is his father's first word. Well, I'll tell you, he's a pretty good-looking little kid here. God bless him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, what I'm saying here is this is the way it works. It's a very beautiful way. But, you know, what you're looking at Kundalini as a Hindu thing. I'm showing it to you in the Bible. And I showed you the Apostle Paul who had an experience in the third heaven and an out-of-body experience in the third heaven. And as you read in 1 Kings 6:8, the winding energy takes you up into the right hemisphere of the brain and then out into the third. So it all is there, isn't it? And so when you talk about the serpent sloughing off its skin, taking on a new body, in Isaiah 61:3, the prophet says, put on the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Take off the old and put on the new. This interesting force of Kundalini is a feminine power of God inside of you. It's a feminine force. It's a life-building force. And it sleeps coiled, that energy. Each one of you has that energy coiled within you. Some of you have had it stir. Some of you feel it. I know I feel it. I certainly haven't gotten to that point, but I feel the energy as I go into meditation. It's like a vibrating energy. It's like an electrical energy. You may feel it in different patterns. But many have it just coiled, sleeping, see? But as you practice meditation, profound meditation, this thing wakes up. She lifts her head and she begins to climb this mystic interior channel of the spine. And incidentally, if you wanted to write this down, just so when you get some of these metaphysical wizards who come in here, you can say, well, I know all about that. That power and that canal that is followed is called in metaphysics, let me make sure I can spell this right, S-U-S-H-U-M-N-A, U-M-N-A, Shushumna, Shushumna. Kundalini stirs, and the power that goes up the spinal canal is called Shushumna. Okay? And you know what this means? You know what the word Shushumna means? Rich in pleasure. Rich in pleasure. See, what's this? Why? Why is this? Because it's not like religion tells you. You don't drop dead and then have nice things happen to you. That's stupid. That's not a good thing to happen to anybody. They should drop dead. What am I going to say to you? Oh, I got good news for you. Tomorrow you're going to drop dead. So goodbye and have a good time and tell Jesus I said hello. I don't want to go. You go. Okay. Tell him I said hello. I'm going to stay. Because how many of you want? How do you want to drop dead tomorrow? Don't raise your hand. Nobody wants to drop dead tomorrow. But you can see Jesus. You can be with Jesus tomorrow. This is everything you've ever dreamed for. Joe, you sang all the songs. I want to be with Jesus. I want to go up to heaven and hit those pearly gates. Drop dead tomorrow. Oh, not me. No, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to preach. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Nobody wants to go. Come on. If it was that what you wanted to do, your natural instincts would have you blowing your brains out. That's not what you want to do. You want to stay right here and live forever right here. And you know what? It's exactly what you're going to do. Isn't that great? And we're all one day going to get this fakakta straightened out in here. The right side's going to open up. We're going to go to the third, and this beautiful, magnificent jewel in the middle of the universe will become heaven. Why does it have to be someplace else? Why does it have to be someplace else? See, I don't disagree with Christianity. Yes, you live forever, and you go to heaven. But why does it have to be someplace else all the time? Why can't it be here? We make it nice, right? I like it here. Tiny, whiny, Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville, cheeseburgers in paradise. That to me is heaven. I don't want to go someplace where they're playing Amazing Grace. I want to say cheeseburgers. And so rich in pleasure. And Jesus Christ says in Luke 12:32, fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. What did he say? Fear, it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. That's what Jesus said. And he said it's within you. The kingdom of God is within you. It's given to you. And you know what? Nobody wants it. It's like, it's like you, say for instance, you're in a cell and you got 6 hours and they're going to electrocute you. Okay? And what happens? The warden comes. I got 6 hours. Don't worry anymore. You got a pardon. You can go home. And you know what it's like? We say, nah, not me. I'm going to figure a way out of here on my own. I'll figure a way out. Close the door. Let me work this out. That's what we do. We're going to work this out ourselves. I'm going to go to Father so-and-so or Reverend so-and-so. He'll show me how to work this out. We never have worked anything out. We don't even, I dare say many of you have never even heard of this stuff. I dare say many of you have never even seen this. You've read Bibles and had Bible studies all your life, never even thought of, seen anything like this. Never knew that it lines up exactly with that. Never ever saw it. And so then you have a right to stand up and say, wait a minute, who the heck has been keeping this from us? And we've been paying you all this money. You should go to those churches and say, hey, I want my money back. I want my money back because you didn't tell me all this stuff. It's in the Bible. You know, take them to court. Okay. That's a little silly. That's okay. So Shushumna means rich in pleasure, and she pierces each stage of those chakras. We're wrapping this up. Now, this is how it works in the ancient description of this, what we've seen in the Bible and what we've seen in talking to Kundalini. The ancient would sit cross-legged. You know what? I want to tell you something. I have right over there on my foot, it's got real sore. And I thought, yeah, I must have something. Why is this so sore? There's nothing there. And I said to Joan, it's these shoes, you're buying the wrong shoes, you're going to the store, you bring them back too tight, and all of this. And now look what happens to me. I'm pretty soon I'm going to be like this, and everybody's going to think this guy's old. And I said, why is this hurt? Why should this be like this? I couldn't figure this out. It took an 11-hour meditation yesterday, sitting here all day, and I sit cross-legged, and my foot is under my knee, pressing down into the concrete floor. And I have determined that is exactly what it is. So I'm going to get a little pillow to sit on. See, and you adapt yourself to these types of things. But you know, they would sit cross-legged for hours. You could sit cross-legged for hours. And what they would do, they would hold in mind one thought. That's what they would do. And one thought could be Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, blazoned in their minds. What does it mean, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo? Reverence for Myo, which is the invisible within you, which Ho manifests itself as that which is life around you. Renge means understanding the law of cause and effect. You are what you are because of what has been put in you in the past. And what you are now is because of what was put into you before. And what you will be then is what you are now. It depends on what you put into your life. The Shakyamuni said there is absolutely nothing in the universe that does not react to an impetus. For every cause, there's an effect. You've had fear. Sometimes like John Bradshaw says, you can take a little kid. Some of these parents scream their brains out of kids. You can take a little kid and scream and actually cause the electromagnetic fields in that child's brain to change. And it can be irreversible. And cause that kid at an age of maturity to be filled with fear and guilt and stress. Just what happens? What has happened? Why is that child like that? That's the effect of a cause that has been put into that child's mind. And that's what happened. Or he repeats, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth. You know what it means? Holy, 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 Lord God of hosts. Say, well, why not just say that? Because Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth is suited for the decibels that move the light patterns in the electronic fields within your brain. You have to use those things that stimulate that because Lord, holy, holy, holy doesn't do it. And then the ancient would look to regulate breathing, inhaling deeply, and he would hold his breath, and then he would exhale. That's why you see Buddha with a picture, big fat belly, diaphragmatic breathing, because you have to get all of the air down into the bottom of the lungs to pour out all of the garbage that's accumulated there. That was one of the ways that Buddha practiced to overcome sickness. And they would practice in through the right nostril, out through the left nostril, in through the left nostril, out through the right nostril, prana to apana, apana to prana. That's life energies circulating in a great circle like the zodiac. And the entire body then would be moved with prana, which is the spirit fire and the energy, the breath of life. The breath of life, and that's why it's so important. So important. Buddha said, I will not have you sit in this temple and meditate until you do your breathing exercise. The breath is life. If you know what sometimes a lot of you people say, I can't get these thoughts out of my head. Shut your breathing down for 15 or 20 seconds, and they'll go instantly. Because the Shakyamuni Buddha taught the breathing and the thoughts are regulated at the same energy. It's the same thing. Shut it down. Breath. To Shakyamuni Buddha, breath was everything as far as reaching nirvana. Breath was everything as far as reaching a meditative state. This is the last scripture I'll ask you to look at. It's on page 110 in the New Testament. It's John chapter 20. John chapter 20, okay? And it's verse 22. Jesus Christ, it says, and when he had said this, namely Jesus, he breathed on them and said, receive the Holy Ghost. The breath of life moving in and out, stirring the process. And it is said that when the coiled serpent would rest in the lowest center, that your personality would become sluggish and lethargic, you know? When the coiled serpent is resting at the bottom, I'd say the people would be like, the hell with it. I don't really care. I don't care what happens. I don't care one way or the other. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Basically, that's the attitude of a person, because all of that energy is just down in the cellar, not moving. It's like stale air. It's not moving until it starts to rise through this energy. And as long as she sleeps, the life is gone. We exist, but we don't know anything. That's why it says in Job 26:13, his hand has formed the crooked serpent. Sometime you get out and if you look and you can find it on that zodiac and that mass of stars, that beautiful thing out there in the hallway, and you look and you'll see the serpent in the sky. Well, there's a duality to it. There's a negative aspect of the serpent, which is the lower part. You'll see him reaching up for the crown. In the stars, the lower serpent, which is the negative aspect of this power, you'll see that serpent reaching up, and right above him is the crown. And yet there is poised, I forget who it is, in one of the stars with his foot over the serpent, ready to come down on the serpent's head. You see, let me explain something. You say, well, what about the lower serpent and the higher serpent? It's the same power. It's God. And God can hurt you as well as do you good. You say, well, how can God hurt me? Because if you do not obey the people that he has sent to teach you, you will misuse the power. If you buy a beautiful new car, you don't read the books, you don't know where this or that is, you can wreck the car. You can't blame it on the person who made it. He gave you the instructions on how to use it. You didn't bother to pay any attention to them. If you have a person that does not know what he's doing handle the electricity in this building, the same electricity that is lighting the building will burn it down. It's the same power. It's simply misused. So if you misuse God's power, it can hurt you. If you will use it properly, it will send you up into the realm of divine consciousness. That's why Krishna came. That's why Buddha came. That's why Jesus came, to show you how to use the power. And for the most part, they've been totally ignored. Why? Because people who control you do not want you to know how to use the power, because then you won't come to them anymore. I have no problem with that. Because the day that comes that I say, well, you all have the power, goodbye, you don't need me, then off we go to Key West, and that's fine too. Yes, sir.
I'm listening to you. They're not aware of the power either.
Who?
These people that you're saying, these other churches, priests and reverends, they're not even aware of it.
They should be. There's no excuse for not being aware of it. There is absolutely no excuse for priests, ministers, and evangelists not to be aware of it, because the Lord Jesus Christ spoke of it. The Bible speaks of it. It is clear. But unfortunately, what happens is when you box yourself into a tradition and you take your income from that and you have your Social Security and your retirement depends on that, even if truth comes and stares at you in the face, even if God Almighty comes, you're not going to be able to change your mind. You're not going to be able to go back on what your teachings are. Any more than I could go to my boss and say, you're doing it all wrong, because he'll fire me. And I can't afford that, even if I know that he's doing it wrong. And so it's a very scary thing. But I cannot conceive of the fact that these people don't know, because they do know. They do know. And the Apostle Paul said there's no excuse not to know, because the things that are unseen are clearly seen by the things that are seen. How can you in your wildest dreams not connect the fact that Jesus is born on December the 25th and the Son is born on December the 25th? How can you connect the fact that the Son is crucified on December the 21st and when Jesus is crucified, there's an eclipse? How can you not connect the fact that he calls himself Amen Ra? How can you not connect that the Son sits in the tomb of the earth 3 days and 3 nights and Jesus sits in the tomb 3 days and 3 nights and that the burnt offering of Jesus is the Lamb of God and then spring? How can you not see these things? How can you not see the things? Why should I know this stuff that I've shared with you tonight? And I showed you in the Bible and you know it. And I matched it with the Hindu Kundalini, and you know it's. How come nobody ever told you that Hare Krishna's mother was born of a virgin? What the heck am I saying? Hare Krishna was born of a virgin through his mother Devaki, and that the angel came and told her, "Fear not, Devaki, the child within you is a personality of God." Why didn't anybody ever tell you that? Why didn't anybody ever tell you that the child was born in a cave, and that when the child was born, the stars became more auspicious, and one star shone on the cave? Why didn't anybody ever tell you that? Why didn't anybody tell you that the wicked King Kansa heard that Hare Krishna was going to overthrow him, and so he set out to kill all the children 2 years and younger? Why didn't anybody ever say that? What are they afraid of? They didn't know that? The world knows that. It's every book. You can go on any book in Waldman or anybody else. It's all written there. Happened 7,000 years before Jesus was born. Devaki, by virgin birth of the Holy Spirit, gave birth to Hare Krishna, the wicked king, the whole bit, the exact same story. You read the book about Moses, you read the story about Moses, his mother put him in a little pitch, floated him up the creek. Why didn't anybody ever tell you that 6,000 years before that King Sargon, when he was 3 months old, his mother put him in a little pitch, floated him up a creek, and the princess took out exactly the same? What do they got to hide that they don't tell you this stuff? And it's not hidden. You know, nowadays you got the advantage. Go buy books by Joseph Campbell. Go buy books. They're all books. They all carry this stuff. Go look it up. You can look it up. There, it's not hidden from anybody. They know that this isn't the first Savior who was born of a virgin, was crucified and resurrected. It happens at least a minimum of 23 times before that. 23 people are recorded in history of mythology who were coming down from heaven, were crucified, who were born of a virgin, and who resurrected. Even Buddha. We did the ascension of the Buddha last week. Buddha ascended up to heaven. Nobody ever told you Buddha ascended to heaven. Why? What's the big secret? Because when you're controlling people, you don't let them know what's going on outside. You keep them in here. You put stained glass on your window so you can't see outside. Don't let them know. And then if you tell, don't go to these other churches, you'll lose your salvation. Don't go near those people. They'll put bad things in your head. Scare the hell out of you. They don't want you going near anything because you're liable to find the truth. And then when you find the truth, you're no longer going to file in and kneel to their power. What? How many years? For God's sakes, I mean, the Russians, they wouldn't. They put up a wall. They didn't put up a wall to prevent people from coming in. Put up a wall to prevent their people from going out because they might see what's outside. Okay? It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace that religion and religionists cannot sit down and look at the history of the universe and of all the people that God has dispatched to this planet. For God's sakes, you have Osiris. Osiris was a god who came down, gave his life for the people. He was killed. His wife, Isis, laid on his dead body, and she conceived the child Horus, the Christ. And Horus would sit, and they did this magnificent sculpture of Isis sitting with the little child Horus on her lap. And the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Lourdes, France, or someplace like that, took that exact sculpture and reconstructed it and made it Mary and Jesus. Same thing. Because it's the same story. And it's happened over and over. It's happened to Adonis. It happened to Tammuz. It happens over and over and over again. And yet we sit here, we don't have the slightest idea that this ever went on. Not the slightest idea. Because they've told you and they've scared you and said, don't read that stuff. You go from this place, go to wherever you go, to a bookstore, every book they told you not to read, get it. Read it. Read it. Because that's the way you control people, by keeping them ignorant. You keep them away from the truth. You keep them away from reading. The first thing the dictator does is scare you away from reading things. Take books out of your hand. Don't allow this book in here. Scares you to death. You know, you've had people say things about what goes on here. They don't know. Ministers, everything else. You take drugs here, you sacrifice animals, all kinds of bizarre things. Somebody told me the other night, they say we walk on glass and fire. The other one, there's a great one I heard the other night. I'm a mind controller. I control people. I can't get somebody to even set a chair straight in this place. I'm a mind controller. Is this a joke? No other place that you know of where you can say there's 50 people in the room. What's the philosophy? Well, you ask them. There's 50 different philosophies. That's the way it should be. Control your mind. I can't even control my own mind. I'm going to control your mind. Isn't that a joke? That's what these boobs say. But the point that you've got to understand, if they lie to you about that, what else are they lying to you about? Are they so afraid of their little magic kingdom that it's going to come crashing down upon their ears because people would be able to sit and hear things? Yeah, you've seen them. I'm not going to listen to that stuff. We had a guy here this morning. There was a guy here this morning, and I was a little concerned because he was a little bit out of place. Had a suit and a tie on, you know. I mean, suit and a tie, and he looked like, and I thought maybe he's here to. So I said, hey, this is a little strange, a little different. I told him a few things about what we do and what we think, and I turned around, and Joan said, where'd that guy go? He was gone. You say, but. This then is the point. Don't be afraid to learn. You are mature, intelligent people. The Spirit of God, the kingdom of God is in you. If you see or read something or see something that doesn't jive with you, you can drop it. But you drop it. Don't drop it because I say or anybody else says you can't read it or can't look at it. You make that decision. That's when you'll be set free. That's when people all over this universe are being set free. And you see it happening all over the world today. The worst thing you've got, and it's like Carl Jung said, there is no difference between Christianity and communism. It's exactly the same. It's collective consciousness, people threatened, under fear, made to believe this, because if they don't believe it, they're going to go to hell. I used to hide and go to a baseball game and hide under the stands to eat my hot dog. And then I went home. I was really guilty. I know I ate that hot dog. And that's when I think I started getting indigestion from that stuff. I have it every day. Huh? Right, it was on Friday. I go to hell. What did I do? 7 years old. Baseball game. I got a hot dog. I gotta go to hell. I gotta kill him. I mean, a hot dog at a baseball game. I was a Yogi Berra. I saw Yogi Berra when he first came up in Rupert Stadium in Newark. And I'll never forget it. My father took me. My father, he liked to go, and he didn't eat hot dogs. He was having this other stuff. And I was down hiding underneath there, eating my hot dog. God sees me. But I felt guilty, Then I had to go to confession and tell this guy I ate a hot dog. I ate a hot dog. I'm 7 years old. I'm guilty for eating a hot dog. No wonder they're all committing suicide. In my mind was that I really did a horrible thing. I ate a hot dog. What a terrible thing. Come on, don't ever, 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 ever allow a child 5 or 6 to think they sinned or are guilty of anything. For God's sake, let them celebrate. Stay out of their affairs and let them celebrate. Spin and get stuff all over you. Have a good time. And teach them to be nice to animals and teach them to be nice to the earth. Don't worry about eating hot dogs. And you know what you want to really teach them? You want to pick up the Bible and say, let me show you something, son or daughter. I want you to follow Jesus Christ. And then show them what Jesus Christ said. It doesn't make any difference what you put into your mouth. It doesn't make any difference. It has nothing to do with that. Settles the case. That's what he said. All right. Thank you for sharing this.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinar?
Professor, are you there with us?
Yes. The question I would like to ask is, what have you learned? Is there anything new that you've heard?
That everything, just confirm that everything them tell me again is a bunch of lie. I want but my money from the church first and foremost, because I didn't make the connection between the Kundalini and the Bible verse, and I realized that 23 resurrection took place before the Jesus Christ one. So there's a lot of piracy. I understand that there's piracy in the mix. Anyone else?
Same thing you saw.
Now, from the classes that we've been going through, and you learned how the water, the fourth stage of water, and how certain charges can increase the water's energy. When you look at a river, how does it look from the air?
Run that
Like the
again.
serpent.
Okay.
When you look at a river,
Looks
how
like the
does
serpent.
it looks like the serpent. Now, knowing how water flows down a window when it hits your window when it's raining, how does it look?
Serpent.
When you look at your nerves, or you can see your veins.
Peach, I know where you're getting that. There's no straight line nowhere across the world or in the universe or in your body for that mind. So everything is twisted.
When we look at certain flows of energy and certain thoughts, what is the seventh heaven? Clear thought, no thought, clear mind, bliss. Because sometimes we can actually think so many things in our mind where it takes us to a different realm. It could take us high, it could take us low. You could think of negative or you think of positive, but it's all in the same aspect of degrees. There is only one zero. There's only one you. You can take yourself to the positive or you can take yourself to the negative. In you is the aspect of the primordial waters. In you is the power that could be charged by the sun, that could be charged by eating properly. When you can look around and see that there's been a manipulation of our environment through food, through air, through sound, through speech, through visual stimulation, you could see the distractions of what has been put in front of your eyes, taking you away from yourself in order for you to know who you are. Because when it really comes down to it, in the beginning, you're created in the image of the Creator. In the and in the realm, they tell you, oh no, you have to worship the Creator, or there's something external beyond yourself. Whether anyone likes it or not, you are just a refraction and reflection of everything that you see around you. Does anyone want to add anything? No? Well, this is the end of today's class. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming in and showing up. And if you can, take a listen once again. Once video.
Hey, Professor. You hear me, Professor?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Does the mind is a recorder, right? It records everything. It picks up everything, right? So whatever it's picking up is not really you. That is picking up in the mind. Because I have experienced paying attention to my mind and seeing the thoughts keep circulating, and I know that these thoughts are not me. So, like how the body is not really you or me, it's just we living in this body.
There's a whole you can't run away from yourself. You cannot run away from who you are, whether you like it or not. Always
Well,
add,
well,
always add
Professor,
upon it.
based on what I know about the Kundalini, it's all energy. Energy don't die. Energy just keep moving on and keep living. So that's why he tells people you've been in this experience multiple times and not realizing it. Because of all of the stuff that they do to us as a child, you're not going to remember a lot of the stuff that you did in your past life. Big light in your face, a big slap when you come out of your mother womb reverse, and all of them things they would them do.
Yep. Kundalini.
Mm.
Kundalini. But you heard what he said. He said that if something is going on in your head, you can use something called breathology. I don't know, a lot of
Yeah,
you was
breath, deep
breathology.
breaths, deep
Yes.
breaths. Yeah, that's
If
what
you
I'm talking
want
about. That's what he said.
to clear
The
your
Buddha.
mind, you want to clear your mind, stop breathing for a couple of minutes. And that like wipe the data. There's a lot of connection with the energy. Breathing is like the water in the battery. Okay? So that's why breathing and humming is so important with your chakra. Your chakra feed off of these energy.
Mm.
Oh, so
When
that's
you
why Alan always a hum.
Oh,
when you listen to
Yeah.
the word chakra, shocking Ra. Ra
chakra
is the sun, shocking your internal suns.
Ra is the sun.
Yeah.
Internal sun. That is the chakra.
Yeah, I know.
Chakra.
That's one of the reasons I put on the window from early. You want to put on the heat out? Yes, please. Cold out there. I don't know, because tomorrow going to be cold. I told you that. It's going to be cold.
Yeah, well, go along, go along. I just muted Brother Kareem. But where that this lessons as spirituality, it is it is connecting the dot, professors. And then what we always emphasize is that you have control over time. Choice is what you're given, but time you can segment it through breathing, humming, and action. When you run, a lot of people take running for just running. Running is traveling, people. Traveling is speed, and time is speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, time is speed, brothers and sisters. So when you go running, you're doing a lot of galactic traveling in that sense. With remember, say you yourself is an estate with everything in it. The stars in you, the sun in you, the water in you, the air in you. So you move through time.
And if you could do it in a one place with the whole heap of trees and
Oh,
the
not
earth,
nature, not
yeah,
mother nature.
a whole heap
That's
of this up.
the electricity, as in the energy, is in the tree and the air and the water and the ground. Now, once you tap into that chemistry, go ahead, Professor.
I want to ask the class, when last did anyone take off their foot and just
Sat-
stand on the
Saturday, I'll take off my shoes and just walk and
We
get.
what the question, Professor?
I said, when last did any
Outside,
one of you take off your shoes and just stand on the bare ground?
Mhm.
Right, all day that
Professor,
me I
good
do.
time. I New York, me there. Me not do them thing up there, so too much nasty thing there. Me rather
Oh,
wish them go to Jamaica.
oh, fine,
I do this about every day.
I
find a
do this.
secret
I
ground.
do this every day.
Find a secret ground.
Last week I went into the bank barefooted, and from a security, I entered the door. The security looking at me. Every customer in the bank I look for me.
Yeah, man. Well grounded. Well,
I tell you something. I feel so good. I feel like a superstar.
no, but can I tell you something? No, but can I tell you something? You see, the very, very wrong what we take for granted. Trust me. It's a sacred ground, King. It's a sacred ground. And sometime even in the summer, we were living in a foreign country. If you find a park, if you find a
Yeah, man.
recreational area, if you find which part of the river run and
Yep.
go in these places because it's a groundation. Say every electricity pole we see on top of the earth have a grounding to it. Why is that?
Mhm.
As it is above,
So it's
so it
below.
is below.
Really and truly, Rascalites and everybody, electricity come from the ground, but they don't tell nobody that. You can create your own electricity if you have distilled water,
Yes.
um, copper wires and certain things. We can't remember the exact material list, but you
Yeah,
can
we
create
do
your
that
own
in
electricity.
class.
The next thing again, I started the midnight park at Oga Tree. I'm
Ah,
tell you, love one don't know what powerful that is.
it's
Hug
nice, you know.
in a tree. Something that they think that they tell us is foolish. If you, as the man said a while ago, your kundalini spirit inside of you, which is different from your mind, because your mind is taking up information, while your instinct, which is the kundalini instinct, it is moving off of the vibration of the elements around us.
Mhm. Mhm.
Your vibration is the water, the earth, the wind, the fire. And when your spirit connecting those sense, you have to do it. The tree can talk to you. You
Of
ever go,
course.
I go into the woods, and I see the squirrel, and so me talk to the squirrel till the squirrel comes sit down right beside me.
Mhm. Mhm.
While undomesticated.
Family, I just said that I was on the roof today, right? And I work on the AC, and I said to my coworker, see someone bumblebee there right there, so. And
Yes,
I
sir.
say, yeah, I say, I'm my ancestor, see him come close to me all the time when I fly back and forth. Then I say, say, I 2, 3 more of them up here. And
Mm-hmm.
every time me lie down on the roof, come in and fix everything. Every time I
Mm-hmm.
open my eye, it's like them 8, 10, 12 inches over my head.
Mm.
Yep.
I just lie down the same way. Till it was time for me get up and do what I need to do. Because I know them not gonna do me nothing. And I not look for kill them. So, I'm fine.
Me
Yeah.
witness the bird, me witness the squirrel, me even witness the fish in the water come out and greet me. Big fish come out of the water and greet me because
Yeah.
you have this energy. Why
Yeah.
you Crystal? Me not hear. Crystal, are you talking? You're muted, so that's how we not hear you still.
Yeah. It's true, man.
Yeah, man. Me
I said
love.
the wasp come. I just said to the wasp, I salute the divinity in you. And the wasp come and pitch from my shoulder
Wow.
and I
Yeah.
sing.
Oh.
Yeah. I just say, I see it flying and I said, I salute the divinity in you.
Mm-hmm.
And
These
some guys was in
That
the
could be.
yard. Some guys was in the yard, chopping down. And I said, "Don't run. Just say these words. I
yeah,
salute the
man.
divinity in you." And the wasp don't. And the wasp come and pitch and not do nothing at all.
Intelligent. And and we have dominion over them. When we are connected, you see what the professor just showed to us a while ago about a different realms as to how we communicate.
Yeah.
This is what we want. You see, we are facing an uphill battle with so-called dedicated brothers and sisters who refuse to tap in. So when we are doing these things that look strange to them, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we must not let their um
Way of thinking.
fearfulness of us looking that we are stupid. We're not stupid. I tell you, I talk to the animals.
You
Even when
know,
it's stupid, but
All the time. The bird doing everything. We do the
you know,
same thing.
2 years ago when I came back to Jamaica, there's a lime tree outside the house, and when I came, I heard that somebody step on it and break it. But it's
yeah,
been down, it's been broken for about 3 years before. And that lime tree is like it bear right around the clock. So in June of 2022, there was a fire over another property and it came into our yard. So we had to call in the fire brigade and stuff like that. But when the guy came and he see the lime tree, he said, "Why you not chop it down? You see now gone away." I said, "Excuse me,
Mm,
don't talk about my lime tree like that. Don't
mm.
you come here and talk. Let my lime tree hear you."
Wow.
And I just go to the lime tree and I rub some leaves and I
Yeah.
said, "Don't worry, don't worry. I know that you are not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I know you better than him."
Beer and next crop on them again.
You see, when me come out the next morning, the lime tree are different. Some one heap of young leaf.
Yes, yes.
Me say, look at that. Within 20, less than 24 hours, the
Mm-hmm.
lime tree has show me say it hear what me say.
But hold on, hold on. In the beginning was what again?
The word, man.
The word
The
was
word,
word
the
was God.
word.
So may I tell you, even with our brothers and sisters in different shape, because if we are experiencing a journey in a physical form as spiritual being, don't you think that other beings are experiencing a journey, whether it's
Yep,
through a bird, a
yep,
rabbit? That's
yep.
why we say to our brothers and sisters, you must be mindful of how you live in the flesh now, because you may belittle yourself to come back as a cockroach.
That's why I said to a lot of
You
people,
are come
watch
back
the
as a
words that you speak.
cockroach.
Even today, I said to one young guy, we end up talking about the documents, and one guy said, "Why they not go?" I said, "They don't talk like that." I said, "Do you want it to happen?" Him say,
Claim
"Yeah."
it,
You know. I said, "Well, say you want it to happen, but don't say it
claim
now
it,
gonna happen.
claim it.
Don't use the word now. Say every day get up, say, I am gonna make this change. I'm gonna make this work. Because you can't change people. But you looking at the mirror and you say, you know what? You see you? Me and you gonna make this work. Right? And he must say, I chew it. I say, yeah, that's how you talk. If you want something to happen,
Claim
speak
it.
it. Speak it. Right? Open your mouth and let the words out, and the universe will do the rest. But whatever you say, that's what come back to you. So me just take him number, me send off a copy of the document, and me say, pull it up. If you pull it up, I can take it into Kingston for you tomorrow.
Yes,
Have
sir.
everything ready. Right? So him say,
Claim it.
go do it and give it to me. But yeah, you have to talk what you want.
I like what we have embarked on tonight again. That's another block that we can use for what the journey that we're on. I have some things tomorrow that we will touch on. Tomorrow is
When
Wednesday, and I have some other things I want to touch on. I found something that pertaining to all these licenses that they've given us, from the registration to the car license to the contractor license to the marriage certificate, all of these things. So
all
tomorrow,
of those license.
yes, all of the we're going to show you tomorrow where all those licenses go and how effective we can be as far as controlling these licenses. It's very important for us to control it, because you know that if you're married, the state has this power over you where you don't have no rights once you married to the state. You know, a state marriage is different than a native marriage. A native
Yeah.
marriage give you control over the direction of the union. When you're married to the state direct your union.
That's where you jump over the broom.
Mm.
The
So
road director.
when you say direct your union, it means say when you live with your woman, and if your woman want leave, I state I go decide who
Mm.
and what. Yo, this is very, very, very tedious to the people. It's very tedious because we have people who will just run go married under the state, and the state don't is not in true is not there for the continue the union. The state attacks you, plus
Mhm.
taking over your estate, because then you have two buffoon now when I register. Excuse the language. We're married, and them say these two invalid don't know nothing, so we have to control it to estate. Yeah, automatically see it just take you over because you register with them as an imbecile. No rights you have, be a privilege. So tomorrow we're going to focus on that. I have some materials I want to share, so we will be taking pride into that. Sister Angela, I'm going to give you a call, and Sister Abina. Remember, this week is the um week that we want to refresh what we've been learning, anything that we've been teaching, and you haven't make any progress on it, or you have some concern, come in the classroom tomorrow, make we start address those things. I got some emails with brothers and sisters who have fulfilled certain things, and I'm going to keep them as classified. We need to work on our folder for the 2 week that we're going to be taking a break from class. We need to look about our folders. I see Brother Taylor folder coming good with him signature and him autograph, everything from the notary and everything. These folders are going to be in our possession. So we don't have to rush to nothing. We need to not be panic when we finish these classes. Where if a court, we're supposed to know, say, yeah, what
Turn
am I
that
doing?
page.
No, me have to do, yeah. If it's Officer Nibble, we must know what we're going to do if it's for our offspring being kidnapped from
Yeah,
us. We have to have that also when it
yeah,
comes on to our elder for the next clinical battle where they're going to come and take you out of your house. Because for the next thing is for those of you who have offspring, after the summer break, I want you, especially those in the States, you're going to be given a package for your offspring to school. We
yeah,
must also give the school a package to us sovereign as to notifying them. So when they're doing, if you notice, I see my son coming home in a tantrum where they're doing tornado drill and all these things. I need prior notification for these terroristic hack before my child is put through it, so I can send him into the school. There's certain breach that they do to us because even with the teaching method, repetitive teaching to indulge us and domesticate us, we have to look out for those things.
yeah.
We have to look out. We are identifying with our culture and how we
It's a
stand.
brainwashing.
Yes, so even when it come on to the Black History Month, we have a say whether or not our offspring must be involved in the indoctrination.
Yeah.
We're
That's
taking it,
it. Totally agree.
yeah, we're taking it by the hand as we can once we what I've been notifying by doing this, is that you see once we notify them,
Yeah.
we out of them jurisdiction. But if we don't notify them, they consider us as imbecile.
Yeah. Then do anything they want, we do it.
Yes.
And that's why I said I need another person. Well, tomorrow we'll talk about all of that.
Hmm. Yes, we collectively do these things, and we notify our things, get our papers, and well sign up on everything and document it so we can present them at the appropriate time.
The claim of rights form. Sorry, Russ. The claim
Go
of rights form. There's a part of it when Vanessa was around where we have to get the chief to put a signature on and the thumbprint. That's the copy I have.
Okay. The claim of rights with the
Mm,
notary. There's
mm,
several ways you can do it. You
okay.
can do it with a notary. You
Mm-hmm.
can do it through the post office,
Mm,
and you can do it to your chief with
okay.
steel. Because of the distance over here and the to and fro, we ask our brothers and sisters to deal with that in your surroundings. And
Okay.
where one or three with a thumbprint is put together, that is a council. So you can witness with your mother or with your son who is of conscious mind. It would be better if they were sovereign, though, because citizens are no power. But when you find the sovereign to really endorse your thing, that would be good. Your
There's
thumbprint,
only there's only one is the one that I have from Vanessa is just one person can sign. That was a chief. So I have to get an updated copy of that one.
Yeah, yeah. The chief it can deal with it, but if the chief is not available, remember we are all postmaster general. That's the
Yeah.
next thing I am going to have to teach us, because I need us to be very, very independent. Yesterday I met with the sheik, and we are going to also have this what you call it now, availability of the Moor temple, because
Mhm.
tell him some not call it Moorish, cause it sound too much like Jewish. And
It's the
got
Moors.
I don't just the ish people them.
No, we just more. We
Real.
just more. No, the more
More
ish means the more ish means 50 or 60-40.
Jewish,
But the
Jewish,
Moors is 100%.
Americanish. Oh, yes,
Yeah, but
Americanish.
Ish actually
The
The
means
Jew
Jewish.
wish,
something
the
like.
Jew wish,
So if
wish
it's
they must be.
Jew-ish, it's something like the Jew. If it's more-ish, it's something like the Moor. If
Mhm.
it's
Exactly.
English, it is something like the angels or angel.
Authentic, authentic.
Mm.
What?
That's why I said they wish they were Jews.
Yes.
You listen to the word. Jewish.
Wishful, wishful, wishful. But
Well,
I am working. I am working. To they have a legacy. What I
mhm.
said, Nyankopong is the tip of the spear. We do not ignore the angle or the center, but the tip is where we do all the piercing. So sometimes the handle will be a bit rotten still, but the tip will pierce you. But we're trying to set up everything because they see what we have, and we have infiltrated their movement. As far as our ancestors, Marcus Garvey and Bob and all of these people, we have really showed that we are the tip of the spear when it come on to the revolution. So that's why I just try not to destroy their dreams, but fulfill the vision.
Yeah.
Feel me, I say? Because we stronger, we know
Real.
better. So we do better.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's 32
Real.
minutes after the hour.
One
Anything else?
thing.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Remember, I was talking about these guys that came to deal with my windscreen last Friday and how they get on.
Yes,
They're
yes,
supposed
yes.
to come back today and replace that windscreen.
Hmm.
And the same man last week is like he willfully me in Runaway and went to Brownstone. I've been waiting all day for him. And when I called, he said, "Oh, he's in Brownstone. He can't give me an estimated time to come about whatever." So I called the office in Kingston and
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, I'm gonna be in Kingston on Thursday, so I'll just come in and do what I have to do." And that
Oh,
was
what
it.
really happened? What really happened? They broke your main screen?
No, the windscreen got broken, so I'm replacing it.
Oh, how it
Yeah.
got broken?
There was a truck. My son said he was turning a corner and a truck coming with stuff in the back and a stone fell in the windscreen and break it.
Oh, so their insurance is paying for it then.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
So listen up. After that, after I made the arrangement, about 2 hours later, somebody called me from the office and asked me if the job was done. I said no, the job wasn't done, but I made arrangement for Thursday. He said, "What?" I gave instructions that this is a priority and
Okay.
it needs to be done.
Mighty
So
God. You
no.
sovereign.
When he called and what he's saying to me, I know it's all lies, and I'm gonna deal with that.
Almighty
I
God.
said I'm not happy with the treatment that I got. He said, "I don't blame you. I can
Mm.
understand, right? And when you come into Kingston on Thursday, ask for me. I'm gonna be there.
Oh,
Ask for me." So
Angela.
I'm going in Thursday with my ID on my chest,
Yes.
and I'm gonna see who this person is because I said to him, I've sent in enough emails on Thursday with all my documents to
Mm-hmm.
notify you guys of who I am, and nobody acknowledges my email. He said, "No problem." I said, "I'm not Miss Campbell. I am Angela Rose."
Oh.
So he said, "Okay, Angela Rose." I said, "No, Miss.
Mm-hmm. No, sir.
Just
Don't take
no
me out.
Miss."
correction.
Just
Rose
Angela Rose.
is the name and the clan. I'm from the clan of Rose. Yes. And hey, Angela.
No miss. Just
Angela, yeah.
Angela Rose. And when I go in, I would say I'm from the clan of Campbell.
Yeah, but you know, no, but you know that the rose is of the row, and
The Rose was my middle name.
Nanny is a row, you know.
It's when I go to the insurance company, the lady their name is Ro. So whenever I call, they say, "Is this Angela Rose?" From I don't know how to recognize me, but the question is this Angela Rose? I said yes. How can I help you, Miss Angela Rose? They must say Miss. I said no Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Just Angela Rose. No Miss Campbell. No Miss Angela Rose. Just Angela Rose.
I like that.
You know, and that's how they're addressing me. I said I don't need to be addressed by the name Miss Campbell or Miss Angela Rose. Just Angela Rose. Plain Angela Rose. One name. It's double barrel. Angela Rose. One name. And a lot of them getting it. So Thursday I'm going in to see. This is one of the managers that called me.
Yes.
I'm going to see him because my son said he was going to write to them. I don't ever send him an email, but I did tell him on Friday what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop it there. You know, these people need to be touched because a lot of people is not touching anybody in Jamaica. And because of that, they can get on with the lies and the nonsense. You know, even the insurance company is supposed to give me back some money since January. They said 3 weeks time. Now we're in April, almost finished. And the money still not reach my account.
All right.
No, Angela Rose. Me plan the same thing. When I come here, the same thing me gonna do. Me gonna declare myself. Me gonna have all of my ID them. And me move around. And anybody mess with me, I straight on my ID me I show them. Me not play.
Yo, Miss Angela Rose.
Yeah.
If it is any corporation or any one associated with the Jamaican government, like insurance and all this kind of stuff, remember they are registered in New York City, so you can actually use the UCC1 financial statement.
No, I didn't hear that one. Put it on the chat. Put it on the chat. We never hear that one.
You're UCC1. You're UCC1 because all of these, like for instance, you see what is happening with your insurance company. I'll give you, for instance, you have Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London is still several of the Caribbean operators in the Caribbean, insurance Caribbean operators, but a different name. But they are the one that back them. Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London run the slave thing to, we must understand these people, they change the front part of the building, but the old room still in the basement. And they keep records. That's why they keep records.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing hasn't changed. All they did was change CIB in our next name and change Barclays Bank, because you must, if you do your homework, you can know the 20 bank that pay the slave owners, They don't rub out anything, but they're banking that you don't read.
Yes.
They're banking that you don't ask no question. So when you read and know the cornerstone of the piracy, then you can dismantle them.
Yeah.
Yes. So Professor was just telling you that if the insurance don't yard ramp with you, you have a British address for Lloyd's Rare. Yeah, when them get it, them are gonna go down on them hard because they don't want the rest of us to expose the real culprit, So you see, in time we have a case like Lords of London. When these people get dragged into the court, any one of them agents, because they are principal, and agent like Caribbean insurers or any one of them biggest, we sit down here that one of them a big boss, them are a big boss, because they are backed by the place in London, just like the lawyers, the bar association, it back the judge and the lawyers, them, But if you ever take a judge and a lawyer to court on behalf of the bar association, them lawyer and judge are gonna get real dealt with because they swear secrecy and deception. And once we can point out the deception and the secrecy, they're in trouble because them all have a number. They're all agent. They have no rights. We have rights. They don't have rights. They have privilege because they knowingly gave away their rights. Or privileges.
Yeah, when I was doing the insurance, man, in last year, I used my UK driver's license, but this year, because I canceled that one and I have to do a new one this year,
Yes.
I just give them my Nyankopong document. They said, "Do you have anything with his signature?" I said,
Mm.
"No, but hold on. I have
That's
a
something that's
affidavit. I have
come
a picture of my affidavit and I sent to the bank.
Yeah.
The last page with my signature and everything. I said, look, this is what I have. I can forward it to you to WhatsApp or email. I forward it to her. That's my signature with my thumbprint and everything,
Mm.
And I said, whatever I'm using to identify myself, this is it. I don't use passport. I don't use driver's license. I renounce all of those things. This is me.
No, 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 no. You must be careful with this renouncing. Remember, you're the beneficiary of all. You're the general executive beneficiary of all contract. That's why we copyright the name now. So everything out the Angela, whether them call you Miss Angela Rose, whether they call you Rose Angela Miss, whether they call you Angela Rose Miss, everything is done copied. So guess what now? When you're the general executor of the estate and the beneficiary, you choose to use any one of them, and your paramount choice of identification is your nativity documents. Why?
Okay.
Because it does not fall under none of the state documents. State property is owned by the state. But when you govern the state as a living woman, you are the beneficiary of everything that they want to offer you. You can refuse it or accept it. hmm
Okay.
We are in that settings now. Remember, our ancestors had rights. Remember, you must stand on the rights of your ancestors.
Yes.
Your ancestors named they pay NWC water rate. So therefore, them can't force you, but you can work out an inner standing with them as to what go happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. The thing about it, Sister Angela, my brothers and sisters, if you don't give them power over your jurisdiction, them can't take over your
Yeah.
jurisdiction. The
Yeah.
ID, the document in your hand was not created by them, so them can't manipulate you. It's
That's what I
created by
told mom.
your
I
ancestors.
said,
Justice.
I said to mom, no, you
Yeah,
have them. It's not for you to put away you can put away the live life certificate in the certificate. But see them two red card there must be
yeah,
in your purse.
at all times.
And you present this wherever you go. Them ask for TRN number. Tell them you wish to use this.
hmm
You
No,
go
but
to
your
the bank.
TRN number is on that. Listen to me. Birth paper is on your native document. TRN is
Yeah.
on your document. The social can be traced to your document. Your birth
Yeah.
paper can be traced to your document. So if a agent take your document and don't thoroughly do their homework, they are shortcutting, and the ignorance is that they are looking for a state issued document. This is not a state issued document per se, the collective corporation document. This is a native state document, an international recognized state document. And they call the state Jamaica. We call it Nyankopong.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know to phrase your words so the educated brothers and sisters don't have too much hard work, because none of them no like work hard and they want to go boom bam bam. Because them are used to regular state ID, but these are not citizens ID. These are sovereign ID, national ID.
That's what I in the insurance space about four people in there, two being seen with me and two sitting on waiting. And when she asked for it, I said, I'm not a citizen.
No.
You look at my document. I'm sovereign. I'm not owned by the state.
No, you're not
I'm
a
not a
property.
slave. I'm not a slave. Right? I'm a free living woman. I mean, I talk loud enough, everybody can hear.
Mhm.
I'm a free living woman. Look at this properly. Read what it says on it.
Yes.
It's a global document. You can use it anywhere over the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Anywhere over the world, you can use this.
Right.
I am not just here in Jamaica. I use it in England. I use it in America. I use it in Africa. I use it anywhere I go because what? We are native to this massive land.
No, but this is your estate. You must remember to always put that word in there.
Word. Estate. Yeah,
This,
I learned that now.
this is a declaration of my estate. Where's the estate? You're looking at the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my eyeball, my nose, my mouth is all different parts of the estate. And this is
Yeah.
my declaration. Now, the paper that you have as a registration to the crown, that is a declaration from the crown. This is my native, your native or national ID. It put you in a spiritual realm. So if them can't tell you, say, you can't call yourself Nyankopong. Oh, you have ownership over me now.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, it's 46 minutes after. If there's no more question, I'm going to relieve myself until we meet again tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, and as we say in our ancient language, Nyankopong Pikibu, we shall
We shall be.
We
By a
shall.
donkey.
yes,
We shall have thee.
we shall have thee. We shall have
We shall be, my brothers and sisters.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah, we shall be.
Kapong calling, 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 Nyankopong calling, 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 Nyankopong calling, 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 Nyankopong, Nyankopong, Nyankopong.